Welcome back. We're going to continue learning Adobe Illustrator, and today the tool is going to be the most important one. Why? Because it's going to help you to send messages, It's the text tool, the font tool, the one that is going to help you to create written messages. Now, if you want to download a specific font and you don't want to create it because there are some softwares that help you to create your own font, I'm going to suggest one of my favorite ones, but that doesn't mean that is the only one. There are thousands of thousands, okay? So let's go to the web. I already have it opened. It's dafont.com. Depending on the country that you are, you're going to be capable to change it, the language, English, from French, Spanish, Deutsch, Italian, and so on, okay? As I live in Germany, usually it opens in Deutsch, in German language, but remember that it's really easy to change it. Now, why I like this one very much? Well, the main reason is that you can find, for example, a specific font in a specific style, like this one, for example. You can download it. And another thing that is really important, and I believe that is important, is that you're capable to donate the author. In the end, the font is available for you to use it. Usually they tell you if it's for personal use or not. When you download it, like I'm doing it right now, automatically it's going to be downloaded into a zip file. That means that it's going to be compressed. When you double click it or open it, usually it's going to show you the extension of the file. There are two extensions for text: TTF, True Type Font, OTF, Open Type Font. As I am a Mac user, I'm going to show you how to install it in a Mac computer. If you are a PC fan, I believe that you already know how to, okay? Now, if you have a Mac, it's really easy. You just have to double click it. Automatically, this window is going to be open. Now, consider the fact that the True Type font was created for the Mac users back in the 80s, okay? But the Open Type font was created previously, okay? First was an IBM, then we have a Mac or an Apple. Once you open it, you have to click install, and that's it. The font is going to be available for you. Now, another main reason that I like of this webpage is that, for example, you are capable to select a specific font depending on the name. You're capable to select it depending on the style. You can register it, and always keep in mind that if it says 100% free, you can use it however you want. But if it says free for personal use, it means that, hey, maybe if you are going to use it for a logo and then you sell it to a client, maybe you have to pay for the use for the font, okay? Usually when you do a logo, you create the font for the brand because you want to be unique. You don't want to use something that someone else can download it from the web, right? Now, let's go back to Illustrator. So, the text or the font or the type, where can you get it? You can find it right here. Is this one, the one that has the T? Or you can find it here as well, the character tool. Remember that the windows that we have available on the right side, they're going to help us to define the characteristics of the element that we are developing. That means if we're creating a line, we're going to find some characteristics of the line. And now that we're talking about text or type, in this case, we're going to be capable to define the font, the size, the leading, and so on. For more specifications about leading and kerning and tracking, remember that you have to read the lessons that are included for the class. And as this video is open for everyone, this is not created like for everyone, but I believe that learning is supposed to be universal. And if you have the opportunity to share, that's why I'm sharing it. But if you are enrolled at university, you will have access to the lesson and material. But in case you are not, Google it. Remember that in these days, almost everything is available on the web, as you found just this video, okay? Now, text tool. If you click and release, automatically this is going to appear, Lorem Ipsum. Lorem Ipsum is placeholder text. That means that it's a text that is going to simulate a paragraph, a line, a sentence, okay? It's from Latin. It doesn't have a specific meaning. In the past, before it was included in Adobe Illustrator, let me just show it to you. You are capable to download it here, Lorem Ipsum generator, in a web page. And let me just change this. And you were capable to define how many paragraphs you want, how many words. And as you can see, here they explain what is it. It's a dummy text for printing, okay? It's, for example, while you are waiting and you're a designer at, I don't know, a newspaper that is online, and you're waiting for the text, you know, and the journalists haven't sent the text yet. Well, to make this simulation, you're going to use Lorem Ipsum. Now, once you click the text, you can type down whatever you want. I'm going to type down my name. Now, if you want to change the size, you have to press Shift. Why? If you don't press Shift, remember, you're going to distort, you see? And somehow the characteristics of the font are going to get lost. So if you want to change the size, this is how you do it. This is click and then type down. The font that you like, you're going to find it in two different spaces. At the top menu, right here, or with this window open. If you don't have it, again, remember window, and then you can come here to paragraph. Where is it? Sometimes I type character, okay? Now, the font. If you click it, you're going to see a preview of it right here in the middle. So you're capable to select the font that you like, the one that matches the message that you want to send, okay? Maybe this one, it almost Comic Sans. Ooh, designers don't like Comic Sans. I'm going to select this one, okay? Futura. Now, as you already know how to duplicate, I'm going to duplicate it. Fonts, they usually have like a family. That means that every time you select, there are going to be other options that are going to be available. In this case, Futura have these 5 options. That doesn't mean that all the fonts are going to have the version, you know, for italic, bold, plain, simple, ultra thin, ultra bold, ultra black, and so on. So you have to be aware of that. Now, what else do we have? So we have the name, we have like the style, and at the same time we have the size. The software is going to give you these numbers. 6 is the minimum that you can use. And when I say minimum, is like, please, 6 is really, really small. And if you want to give information to people, 6 maybe is like for all the labels that are like people doing like this, trying to read, okay? Now, that doesn't mean that you have to use only huge fonts. It depends on how you're going to use it. If it's going to be for labeling, if it's going to be for packaging, if it's going to be for digital reading, or maybe it's going to be for a poster. You have to balance and to keep the message clear. You don't want to saturate, okay? Now, as I'm trying to do this video, I'm using a big font. But usually, when you are writing text, you're using between 9 to 12 points, okay? Keep in mind when you're using Word. That's going to help you much better. And what else do we have? So we have this, this, and this. In this window, floating window, we have something that defines the leading, the kerning, and the tracking. Leading is the distance that you have between lines, okay? Let me do this. Leading is this. I'm going to make a little bit smaller the size so you can see it much better. I'm going to put it here. So, leading is this. Leading is the distance that you have between 2 lines. Usually, the software is going to put it automatically, but as a designer, you can define how separated you want the text. Okay, maybe you want it closer, too close, or if the number that is right there available doesn't match what you like, you can type it down and press enter. Okay, so leading is the separation that you have. Now, another one that is important is called tracking. Tracking is this. Tracking is going to define the separation that you have between every, how can I say, for every character, okay? 0 is going to be like the normal one. If you use minus, it's going to get closer. If you use more positive numbers, it's going to be more separated. Let's take a look. And this is tracking is this. I'm going to put with minus. And tracking is this with a plus. Where is the plus? Here it is. So when you use a minus number, you see that the characters get together. If you use a huge number, it's going to be really hard to read. Usually this is used for some paragraphs when you're in a need of, deleting one word that is at the last word of a paragraph, or if you are working for a publishing agency, okay? Now, I'm going to leave it right here. And when you use a positive number, it's going to be separated, okay? So now we have seen the difference between tracking in negative number, tracking in positive number, and at the same time, we have seen the difference between leading. Now, what is kerning? Kerning has 3 different ways to see the separation of the words and how they manage, the angles. Now, auto is going to be automatically. Optical is going to give you, for example, like, let me see, A and B. Take a look to this, please, A and B. I don't know if you can see the separation that is created again. I'm going to undo. It's a separation between these letters that have an angle, okay? This is the optical one and the metrics, and of course, you can type down and put the number that you want, 50. And here it's going to tell you that its extended selection can only be set to auto or 0. To modify spacing, use the tracking option. As you can see, it's just between these 2 words, A and B, when this happens, okay? To tell you the truth, I never used it before. I always use the tracking in publishing, but if someone knows more, you can comment and share it. I mean, in the end, we're all learning, right? So, we have seen then what is kerning, tracking, and leading. Remember that every time that you have a corner with some lines, that means that you have extra options. So if you go to the corner of the window and click show options, more things are going to be available. The good thing is that since the past 2-3 years, you are capable to select the language that works for you. But that doesn't mean that it's going to correct. In case you have a typo or something is not written in a perfect way, it's not going to be marked, okay? So for example, if I select the Spanish, let me see, where is the Spanish? All of this should be marked like a mistake, right? So just be careful and don't trust it in 100%. And the numbers that you see right here, this is going to define the vertical scale of the character. For example, I'm going to write another B so you can see both of them. When I change and modify this one, it's going to defer to how tall and how short it's going to become. The best number is going to be 100, sorry. This one is going to define the width, so, or the horizontal scale, if it's going to become fatter or thinner, okay? This is going to be for a superscript, baseline shift is going to go to the top. Let me show you how. And the other one is going to be the subscript, but let me just undo this one, 0. And this is going to help you to have a specific angle in case you want to rotate it. Now, I believe that in case, instead of using this one and you want to do this modification, first you have to convert the text into outlines, and we're going to see how to do it just in a couple of seconds, okay? So let's continue with this. The other options that we have here is that in case you want to change all of it to caps, you click it here. This is called small caps. In Spanish, is usually called versalitas. Okay, that means that all the text is going to have the size of the X. In case you want to have superscript, a subscript, if you want to have it underlined, and if you want to have a strike through. Okay, now it depends on the design that you're doing, of course, and the message that you want to send. And finally, but it's important, we have something that is called, let me select this one, let me have it like this. sharp, non-crisp, strong. This is the definition of how is going to be the border of the text. None is going to work okay. Usually we use them when we are in Photoshop, okay? If we have the time, I'm going to create a video and explain it better in detail in Photoshop, but right now we have to focus in Illustrator. So if you have it, none works too. As we have seen, every time that in the toolbar we have a small triangle, it means that we have extra tools. So what can we do now? I'm going to add a new page. For that, I'm going to do this. I'm going to figure out the difference between just one click and when you drag and create a box. Let's see again. So when you select the text tool and you do this, depending on the characteristics that you left on the window, it is going to appear here. In my case, I left the small caps, the strike through, and underline, okay? So I'm going to write it here. Remember that I just click and then start writing. But how about if I click and hold? When you click and hold, automatically you're defining a box for the text. That means that the text is going to be contained where you did the first click and where you ended. So right now the font has a huge size. I'm going to change it into 20. And let's see. I'm going to type down some text. As you can see, it starts here and it ends here. That means that the box is going to adapt a paragraph. Okay, that's the difference between when you click it once and when you click, drag, and create like the box. Okay, this is how you can do it. Now, what else do we have? When you click it, you're going to find out that you have aria, type on a path, and so on. We're going to start with aria type tool. Usually you create a box of text, you know, it's going to be rectangular. But how about if you want to do a shape of a star, a heart, or a circle, whatever? I'm going to go here, and instead of selecting the rectangle, because I don't want a box, I'm going to select the star. So I have this beautiful star, and I'm going to draw another circle just so you can see that it works for any figure that is closed, because this one is called aria. Okay, so I'm going to select the tool, and as the example shows you, you have to click the line. Okay, when you click it, automatically the text is going to be adapted to that area. Now, take into consideration that the size and the font is going to be defined from the one that you have since the beginning. That means that the text that is going to be there is going to have those characteristics, but you can change it. That doesn't mean that it has to be like that all day long. For example, you can adapt it, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be completed in the rest of the figure. Let's see. For example, right now the text is in 10 and in medium, okay? I'm going to select this one, I'm going to select this, and I'm going to click the line. You see the difference, okay? So this is going to be the aria type tool. Now you can make it smaller if you press shift, but remember that what you are doing smaller is the area, not the size of the text. It's not like here, like when you press shift, you can make it smaller, okay? So let me just go here and place it here. Now, I don't know if you're aware of this red thing. Pay attention to it. Maybe it's going to appear in some of the figures that you create, and it's okay. I will explain later why it appears, okay? Now, the other tool that we have is the type on a path tool. That means that if you have a specific shape, it's going to adapt to that shape. So let's use the brush. We haven't used the brush. The brush works this way. You have to hold it, drag it, and do, you know, the path that you need. When you are going to use this one, you click the line and automatically the text is going to adapt to that line. It works with path, with brush, and even with figures. For example, I'm going to continue using the circle, and instead of using the area that is going to cover inside, I'm going to use the outside of it, okay? Now, I have to plug it in, just wait a sec. Maybe I have to do a pause because I don't have my charger here. I'll be back, just a sec. So I am back, okay? Now, you have seen that, for example, the text has adapted to the figure. If I draw, I don't know, a star, it's going to happen the same way. It's going to adapt to the line. You can use it in a vertical line, you can use it in, I don't know, curvature, whatever works, in specific needs that you have and the message that you want to share. Now, the other one that we have is the vertical type tool. As I mentioned before, depending on the culture, you're going to write different. For example, if you are in Mexico and the United States, we usually write from left to right. But if you're in Asia, from right to left, correct? And in some other countries, they write, from top to the bottom. And this is how it works. I'm going to click this one. And as you can see, the text is going to be written in a vertical way, okay? The other tools that are available, the other three, they're going to work as the ones that we just saw, but in a vertical way. Let's see the difference from the circle, for example. I'm going to draw a similar circle so you can see how it's going to be written in a vertical way with Lorem Ipsum, okay? I'm going to click around it, and here you go. More or less like Matrix, right? You're going to see the text like that, and it's going to be written from right to left, okay? And the other one that we have is the vertical type on the tool. It seems to be like this, but it's not. I'm going to use the brush tool again, and I'm going to use the tool, and I want you to see the difference, how it's going to be adapted to the path, okay? But using in a vertical way. It's not going to be over it, it's going to adapt like to the middle of the line, okay? And the last but not the least, we have the touch type tool. How does this work? I'm going to get closer to my name. I'm going to select my name. Remember that I click and then type the Bren, a word, okay? When you have the touch type tool, it's telling you which character do you want to change. I'm going to change this one. I'm going to be capable to move it here, here, to adapt the text. And guess what? It's going to still be in a text. That means that I can still edit it. For example, hello. I can edit it, but all the characteristics are going to be deleted. But it's not a drawing. This is a text that you can be editing. Now, a couple of minutes ago, I told you that you need to create an outline, right? Now, let's see, what is this? An outline. So far so good. I hope you don't have any questions. In case you have, ask. I'll be glad to help you. You already know my email, okay? I'm going to add a new page, and I'm going to type it here. So, let's see the difference between a text and an outline, okay? Let me duplicate it. As we have seen, text can be edited. That means if you double click it, you can change it. You can place another word, whatever works for you. Now, press Command Y or Control Y in your computer, and you see them in black, right? Now, select one of those two words, or three, whatever the quantity that you have is okay. I'm going to select the one that is in the middle, okay? And then go to the top menu, type, and then select something that is called Create Outlines. It's going to do the following thing. Press again Command Y. Do you see a difference? Do you see that when you select, you have points, and here you have a frame? Well, my friends, you created a drawing. When you create an outline, automatically you're not capable any longer to edit it. That means that if you wrote it with a typo, it's going to have the typo. You have to write it again, okay? But if it's a drawing, you're capable to do all the transformation and modifications that you need. That means that you can get the direct selection tool, the white arrow, and now you can edit the curves, for example, as you have seen here. You are capable to, let's see, I'm going to select just this one, and this is the one that I'm going to change. I'm going to do this. You can start editing the text, okay? Because it's going to become a drawing. It's not any longer a character, a text, an edited character, you know? It's an illustration now. So anytime you need to do, you know, a final design, try to convert it into an outline so there's no mistake that the person that is going to receive it doesn't have the font and is going to be changed into another one, because it usually happens, you know, when you are using PowerPoint and you share the file to someone else, or you're using Canva and they don't have the font, it changed into another that not necessarily is sharing like the message that you want. So this is one trick that I believe that you're going to like. What else do we have now? Let's have fun with the text, okay? When you have it like this, I'm going to duplicate it 3 more times. At the top menu, you're going to see that we have more options that we haven't seen yet. Paragraph is going to help us with the alignment. So if you have a paragraph and you want to align it to the left, to the middle, to the right, here you're going to be capable to define how you want the last line, if you want bullets, and if you want numbers, okay? Now this is going to be helpful in case you want to have like a separation from the borders of the frame. Let me show you how. 3 points was not too excessive, okay? As you can see, there's a separation even though it starts here. Now, what else do we have? We have this option that you're going to like. This is called envelope, okay? When you click it, you're going to be capable to define some of the shapes that are available here at the software. For example, this one is for the arc. You can create a wave, twist, and you can define like some specific shapes for the text. And guess what? As they are text, they can be edited as well. They're not an illustration, okay? So when you select warp, you can even change the definition right here, the distortion, how you want it. If you want it in vertical, if you want it in horizontal, if you want like a fish shape, that's not good, doesn't look so good, right? Let me change it. So you're going to be capable to change it, you know, into different results depending on where do you have it. I believe horizontal is going to look more real, like a fish. Let's see. A really interesting fish. Now, the good thing is that, okay, you don't like that text any longer, you can double click it and then put another one, because you're capable to edit it, okay? Remember that double clicking is going to be helpful to edit anything that you want from text. And the last but not the least, from this area, when you have a text and you click the arrow at the top, you have something that says make with mesh. It's similar to the other tool, the mesh tool. So let's click at this. Here you're capable to define how many columns and how many rows do you want to be affected to that specific text. So I'm going to put 4 by 4. And this is going to be the result. With the white arrow, I'm going to be capable to do the following distortions, as you can see here. And let me move this one. I can have this here, and here, and here. Okay? Now, maybe right now the result is not so beautiful, but if you want to share something that is wavy, let's go to the web so you can see some mesh tool with text. You can do this, you can do this, okay? So it's going to be really nice, like depending on the project that you're working on. But I wanted you to see that, like the result. In this case, this is a font that has already lines, and you can find it here in the font, by the way. So let's go back. The text is important because we communicate through words, and you know, and if you say it and you read it, you're capable to remember it. Now, every time you create a logo, a poster, or you want to do something new or creative with the text, you have to be considering that there are extra tools that are available. And I'm going to share with you the last one, okay? I know that the video is becoming a little bit longer, but I'm sorry, it's part of the class. And I'm going to draw a circle. And I'm going to type down here the one type on a path. I'm going to change the size of it. Surprise, okay? We're going to see these lines. When you have a small word and you don't have to a complete sentence, it's easy to find them. The one that is holding the arrow to the right is going to show you like where it starts and where you can move it. The ones that have the arrow to the left is going to share with you where it's ending. And the arrow that is right here is going to help you to transform the position of the text. I'm going to duplicate it so you can see the difference. So here, if I have this one selected, I'm going to be capable to put it inside. So you can see that the difference on how the text is going to be adapted is going to be completely different, right? Over the circle, inside the circle. So be aware that every time you see this arrow pointing to the top, that's going to be helpful, and you have to hold it with the mouse. Now, this can be converted into an illustration. Again, you can come to the top, or you can click Shift Command O. I'm going to do that because that's easy for me. And why this is so important? This is an illustration, this is text. I can edit it. Surprise, surprise. But you can't edit this one. It's already an illustration. Of course, you can edit it by giving some extra, transformations to the text. Let me get closer. For example, you can select this and try to do something different with the weight of the line or so on. But this is important for you to know. Once the text is converted into illustration, there is no way to edit it and correct any typo. So I hope this video works for you in the use of Type Tool. And any questions or that, let me know. I'll be glad to help. Have a wonderful day. Tschüss. Tschüss is in German. Bye in English. Bye.